Okay, y'all see, I'm all smiles today, right? I had a great show so far. Two powerful women on the show today, sharing some positive information with y'all. But I still have one more. One more. Who's a friend of mine that I watch and admire. She's a motivational speaker as well as one of the first female icons out here representing hip hop still today. Made such a tremendous mark on this industry. And I'm talking about MC WD, everybody. Yay! I'm like so happy to talk to you because, like I said off camera, I've been trying to connect with you. I mean, we actually met, what, 2-3 years ago?
Yes.
At a few, we kept running into each other. And we kind of gravitated. We always talked.
We have the same namesake.
The same name, same birth sign. You
That's
know,
right. That's
our
right.
energies kind of just connect with each other. You know what I mean? So
we're educators.
Right, educated. Right. So it's kind of funny, ironic the way the show kind of led up. The first segment opened up. We talked about hip hop.
Okay.
And the early days.
Okay.
The woman that came that actually had the web series, she was also a part of that movement. She used to MC and break dance.
Wow.
And everything, which kind of opened up, led her to writing novels.
Okay.
For writing lyrics. She wrote novels and she became a filmmaker.
Wow.
So look at that. And then we also had our second guest, God Saves Queens.
Yes.
Miss Kathy.
My girl, Kathy.
Right. So she came, and now we have you. That's just going to follow up and share some stories. So let's just jump right into that part, your career and how it started, and give us a little bit of information on the climate at that time. I think that'll be a great way to open up the segment.
Well, at that time, that's like a loaded question.
I know. Okay, let's start. You were a member of Us Girls. Let's start there, right?
Oh, God, that's almost the end.
Oh, that's almost, okay, well then go.
Yes,
Okay, look,
yes,
I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to let you take us through
Oh,
it.
my goodness, that's 1984.
So you was already doing stuff before the... What, see? Tell me about it.
Oh,
see?
my goodness. Well, I started in 1977 in Webster Houses.
Okay.
I actually am a native of Harlem.
Oh.
So I moved to the Bronx because we had a fire in the building. So that's how we got to the Bronx. So we first moved over on University in 165th.
Oh, wow.
And then they, an apartment opened up in Webster Houses. So when we moved there, I was 14. And it was the summertime, and the windows was up, you know, living in the projects. We're on the 19th floor. And all of a sudden, I hear zigga, zigga, zigga. And I'm like, what is that?
Right.
Because I'd never heard it before. You know, as a
That's
teenager
not the
coming from...
OJs. That's not, you know
Exactly.
what I mean?
And I was like,
Right.
okay, I'm not too sure. And then I heard a guy speaking on top of the record, and I was like, Mom, can I go outside?
Right. I didn't go to the store. I'll be right back.
Exactly. And the neighborhood was new. Everything was new. You know, I
Okay.
didn't really know anything about the Bronx other than the Bronx Zoo and the Botanical Garden. Because, you know, when you're a kid, you do
That's
those
where
trips
you
in
go,
New York
right.
City. And that was basically all I knew. And so I went downstairs. Webster Houses is a cluster of buildings, 5 of them. And so we have this section that we call the middle building, which is the park area in front of the middle building.
Okay.
And so I kind of just came downstairs and heard the music and just kind of followed the music. And they were outside just jamming out there. And I was like, what is the...
So that was your introduction.
That was my introduction to hip hop.
Okay. So when did you become a part of it? How did you actually...
About 2 months later.
I knew it wasn't long.
It was not long.
I thought you was going to say that first
It
day,
was
but...
contagious. Well, you know, all of the pioneers will tell you that everybody started because they heard the music.
And you never rapped, you never did
Well,
anything?
I had started Easter speeches when I was a kid in church because I have a heavy church background. I'm a preacher today.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
so I have a
awesome.
heavy church background. So that started with Easter speeches, but when I was in Harlem, I used to go to the PAL in Harlem. And then I entered a poetry contest at 10, and I won that first place.
At 10?
Yep, I wrote a little rhyme called Cats and Rats. And all I remember is the first line, cats and rats are very fat. I don't remember the rest. But if anybody knows Harlem, you know they got a lot of cats and rats down here.
Okay.
So, so basically, you know, when I saw the guy on the mic, you know, I was like, I can do that. I want to do that.
Did you go write something for
I did.
Oh, you
I did. You know, again, it was all new to me. So I kept going and checking it out and watching and seeing the circles and listening to the music and just watching all of these kids. And the brother was like, oh, my God. And my
it was
brother,
like magnets. It was just pulling everybody out, right?
It was. And so, I kind of came upstairs and just started writing rhymes. But this is 77.
Right, so
I'm not
it's more like
it's baby,
trying to
what we
make
call
it,
baby
yeah,
rhymes.
trying to make it really
Honey,
rhyme.
listen,
right.
I'm not lyrical. I'm not doing anything major, long. I'm not battling anybody. I'm saying something very, very simple.
Right.
And so that's how it started. And then I came downstairs, and the DJs that DJ'd in front of that building was DJ Abel and Bear. I think they both have passed now, because they were a little older than we were. And I just came downstairs and said, "Can I get on your mic?" Because at that time, you have to ask the DJ.
Right.
Everything was about the DJ.
Right.
It was the DJ sound system, so you had to
Right.
ask
You
him.
can't just grab his equipment and start doing your thing. Right.
No. So I got on the mic, and he was like, "You know how to rhyme?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "What's your name?" I was like, "Debbie D." It was simple,
right,
you know.
right.
Everything was very simple. And so I got on the mic. I always heard the guy say 1 2 1 2. So I was like 1 2 1 2, and everybody turned around like, "Oh my God, who is that?" Because it was a girl.
Right.
And
All they've
in
been
our
hearing
area,
is guys.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that people don't know about the women who I call matriarchs of the culture. We are actually the first few girls that was on the mic, and it was only really a handful of us. It was probably less than 10 for about maybe the first 5 years, I probably would say.
And who would those 10? Who would be that 10?
That would be Shyrock, me, Shyrock, Lisa Lee, Pebbly Pooh, Sweet and Sour, the Mercedes ladies came in.
And we're talking about different areas.
Oh,
now you're hearing about, right.
We were all in different areas.
Right.
None of us were on top of each other. But, you know, it was just a few. Even when you looked at the flyer, it was always like one girl in a crew. And when you got to the party, it was really just one girl on the mic.
So how was that for you, being so young, surrounded in this male-dominated situation?
Well,
and or was everybody kind of united through hip-hop? Like, what was the
were.
feel? Okay.
We really were. It's a little different than it is today. I mean, it was male-dominated for sure. But, you know, it was all about your skills. So the question was, can you rhyme?
Right, that's it.
That's it.
Right.
For a guy or a girl.
Okay.
It was like, because if you couldn't rhyme, the DJ, you would get on the mic, and if they thought you was whack, they would literally turn the volume down on your mic. And you would still be talking in the mic, and the volume be down. And people can't hear nothing you say, and they'd be like, "Get out of here."
Right. You already know. Pass it and walk off.
So it was really about your skills. And at that time, like, this is when crews first started forming.
Okay.
See, this is like 77, 78.
Right.
You have the first crews, and everybody's like all the DJs are trying to get MCs in their crews. They wanted somebody good.
Right.
The MCs wanted good DJs.
Right.
You know, so it was all of that. So, you know, you had some girls that was courageous enough to step up.
And you
I
was
applaud
one of
my
them,
sister.
right.
Yes, and I'm a part of that crew, and I appreciate that.
And how did the Us Girls, how did that connection come about?
Well, you know, because we're a few of the first few girls, of course, you started hearing about other girls. You went to the parties, you started seeing other girls. So we all kind of knew about each other because you went to the parties every weekend. You saw the same girls over and over and over. But that's in 81, I broke away from the male crew and became the first female MC soloist on the stage. First girl on the stage with suits on, with my DJ Wanda D. She was on the beatbox, she's on the turntables. We got our own 15-minute show. We doing a doggone thing.
I did not know.
Oh,
that is
yeah,
awesome.
Oh,
yeah.
And I'm
Debbie.
spitting it a whole show, 15 minutes by myself. Yes. And so between the year 81 to 83, I was like actually the #1 girl in New York City.
Get
If you check them flyers, and as Grand Wizard Theodore say, flyers don't lie.
They don't lie. They don't lie. You
in
right
black
about
and
that.
white.
Right.
Black and white. So from there, you know, doing all of that, and there were a lot of transitions going on in crews, and so Shyrock reached out to me and was like, "Hey, what do you think about me, you, and Lisa getting together?" And I was like,
Love
"Let me get back to you." And then I'm thinking, me, Shyrock, and Lisa Lee. Yes.
Perfect.
And
y'all
we did
both
it.
were strong. All
All
three
three
of
us
was strong women at that time.
Exactly. Because we dominated
Right,
in our
y'all
areas.
did.
If you went uptown, it was Shyrock name buzzing. If you went over there, Soundview areas, Lisa name was buzzing. If you came down South Bronx, Debbie D was buzzing.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I
So
mean,
we came
I didn't
together.
realize how that actually happened, so thank you for letting us know, because we hear Us Girls, but I didn't know how the group got
And
together.
we wasn't originally called Us Girls. They
So what was
named us Us Girls because the name of the song in Beach Street is called Us Girls Can Boogie Too. So they kept saying, "We're the Us Girls, we're the Us Girls."
Right.
We were actually called Empress.
That was strong.
Queens, baby.
That's
God
right.
save
That's
the
right. That
queens.
was strong. So having that early start in hip hop, like I know it was a lot of pitfalls at that time. A lot of MCs, money, young, you know, fame. a lot of people got caught up in different pitfalls,
Absolutely.
right? And, you know, jail and all kinds of things. But not saying that's for everybody, but a lot of artists that I've spoken to from that era,
Absolutely.
not getting the just amount of pay, bad contracts, like all kinds of things like that. You kind of went through all of it. Were you signed to a record label at that time? How did that work?
I wasn't signed to a record label until '86 when I connected with the Juice Crew.
Okay.
So a lot of people don't know I even hooked up with them.
I didn't know.
Yeah, well, Fly Ty actually became the manager for us girls.
Oh, nice.
Me and the girls didn't stay together long because eventually I went back to being a soloist.
Okay.
And so that's when I started recording under Cold Chillin' Records. And so
Cold Chillin'.
Yeah, it's a lot of
Cold
history
Chillin'
there. So
Records,
kind of
right.
actually I was a part of the Juice Crew before Shantae.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Before Roxanne.
That's right.
Isn't
I
that
remember when I
something?
met her.
Oh, wow.
And
you was already in the business,
Girl, I was
doing your
already
thing.
doing the doggone thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because we're like at least 6 years apart. So you figure if I'm 19,
Right.
she's what, 13?
Right.
Or something
yeah,
like that?
about 13, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, from that history, you seem to have bypassed a lot of those traps and pitfalls. And then you ended up going back to school, getting your doctorate. Shout out to you for that. That's a big achievement.
Thank
like you
you.
said, you're a pastor as well. It's like you are this is a motivational story right here. That I speak to a lot of different artists from that area. They don't have that same story. So tell us how your journey kind of led you there. How was you able to be successful at making it and not, you know, and rising on top, so to speak?
One word, first of all, and that's God. What a lot of people don't know about me is that, again, I'm from Harlem. So I grew up in the 60s when the heroin was really big there. So I was stepping over dope fiends and all of that.
Right.
But when I was in the 8th grade, Deb, I had a teacher who really saw my potential and told me if you just, you know, get your education and really just stay focused, you can be anything you want it to be. And he asked me what did I want to be, and I said I wanted to be a lawyer because I was very analytical, and I still am.
Right.
And I used to watch Columbo and stuff like that on TV.
He was all over, right, yes.
And so I basically believed what he said. And I just went, you know, from junior high school to high school, just really focused on education. And in high school, I went to Norman Thomas. They had a co-op program.
Me too. Let me find out.
did?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay.
Let me find
See, look at
out.
that.
We got so much in common.
Yes, I went there and graduated in '81, but they had the co-op program. So the co-op program led me into the law firms. So I've been working in
Girl,
law
I know about
firms.
them connections.
Girl, I
My
came
first
out-
job through them was Workman Circle. Legit. High
Come on,
school, you working in corporate business.
I was
right.
corporate America.
Right.
So even though I was doing hip hop, I had money in my pocket. So even though oftentimes we didn't get paid or we got jerked, as we said, but I was always
You was
able to
all right.
fall. Exactly. I was able to fall back on my job. But one thing that's really good about working in that environment is that when we did B Street, and I told my boss that we were going to do a movie and I had to stay out a couple of weeks, he was like, well, who is it? What's going on? And to make the story short, he was like, well, you tell them people they have to call me. And they wound up, that's right, they wound up calling my lawyer. I was a little nervous. I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought maybe we'd get kicked out the movie. But when I showed back up on the set, they gave us contracts. And to this day, 36 years later, I still get paid for that movie.
Isn't that something? Isn't
For
that
being
something?
in the movie
for being in it.
and for the record.
Wow.
That's right. And
So
myself and the other girls, everybody got paid.
See? Because
Through that whole
something opened up and covered you with that.
Exactly.
Covered you dearly with that.
Exactly.
So right now you're a motivational speaker. I see you at a lot of women, not just women. You speak at a lot of different, but I know one in particular, shout out to FemCon.
Yes.
That happened like a year or two ago.
Yes, I usually
And you did a
host that.
wonderful job hosting
Thank
that.
you.
A lot of positive women was on the ballot, on the ticket for that. Great event. So how are you feeling today, MCWD? Like, how do you feel about where you're at today?
I feel great. You know, I feel blessed, and I thank God for the journey that I've gone. But more so, in regard to the topic that you're talking about today, I thank God that I'm able to empower girls today, and more so tap into women who are part of hip hop and say, don't regulate your gift just to being a rapper.
Right, right.
Diversify the gifts that you have. You
Right.
know, you just had Kathy up here. You know, author of God Save the Queen, and she's an author. She's able to write, so she's still doing hip hop, but she's able to write.
Right.
And I also try to tell girls, if you focus in on the content, then you'll be able to move into films and scripts
Exactly.
and you know, books and
Right.
different things like that. So don't just think you want to do something fast. Think about really what you're going to say when you put those words on the paper, because the ability to write can move you into so many
Right.
places.
It's powerful.
Yes, it is.
It's
Very
powerful. You
much.
need to believe that. And like I said, today's show highlighted that. How there was highlighted the transitions of 3 different stories, including yours today, of how something, like you said, MC, and you hear music you don't expect. Next, you know,
Exactly.
that just led to where you at today.
Exactly. Whole
You
life.
know, doctorate, pastor, motivational speaker.
And the
you know.
flyologist too.
Like, right.
Which is the piece that I love. When I was going for my master's, I think I had to take Koine Greek, which is the New Testament original language. And so I really had to focus in on the nuances and all the different things in regard to the language, which really gave me a critical eye.
Right.
And so now I'm able to take that skill and look at a flyer and really be able to break down a flyer, which is like 40 years old,
Right.
to the most minute things. Most things that people would skip over, even dates or the formation or the transition of crews.
Right.
I'm able to detect those different things on those flyers and break them down and teach them to
Isn't that
people.
something?
So for me right now, it's not necessarily so much about destiny, because I've done that in regard to hip hop, but it's really about legacy and leaving something in the earth for people to be able to track and understand the history of hip hop.
Constantly growing.
Yeah, exactly.
Constantly expanding in
Exactly.
different ways. And that's a beautiful thing. There's a lot of people out here that's stuck and don't have a sense or clue or
Exactly.
direction what they want to do because they're so caught up. But
Or people to motivate them.
Right.
You know what you want to do,
Right.
but sometimes you need that push.
Right.
You know?
Well, I hope somebody's been motivated from the
I
show
hope
today
so.
because we shared some great stories. And where can somebody follow you and contact you for
All
maybe
social
hosting
media, for
events
anything,
and things like that?
please.
Right.
Holla.
Right.
Bring your check.
Right. Right.
I learned that at
You have to
19
say
years
that.
old. I did learn that. But all things social media, MC Debbie D, or they can go to my website, mcdebbied.com.
All right.
So, you know, I just keep it straight all the way across the board.
Right. All right, y'all. There you have it. Wonderful show.
Thank you for having me, Dad.
Thank you for
Appreciate
coming. Thank
And you keep
for-
doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
And
I'm
you keep
trying.
pushing, stand on my
Yeah.
shoulders. One thing I always say to women, stand on my shoulders.
Right.
You know, I got my doctorate, and some other sisters out there that have theirs. And just look back and say, hey, if they can do it, I can. And I did
Right.
it with 2 kids.
Right. It's
I
hard.
was very young, 25 years old.
And
And
did
when
it.
I got finished my master's, you know, the president was like, no, you should go on for your doctorate. I was like, I'm tired. My brain is tired,
Right.
you know, whatever.
I be feeling that way sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't want to think. How can you not
I
think?
know.
But you be like, I don't want to read. I don't want to do nothing.
And I felt the same way, but he said something to me that I never forgot. I said, you know, I'm going to, you know, take a break and I'll be back. He said, a lot of people say that and they don't. And that's what pushed me to go forward. And I'm glad I did, because now I'm done.
Right. I'm looking at the finish line now. 2 more classes and I'll
Yeah.
graduate in May. So look, there is a finish line.
And
you
throw a
do
party.
get
You
a break.
deserve
right,
it.
Right. So, you know, like I said, I've been inspired today. I hope you have too. Again, support all the artists and the guests on the show today. And check us out every Sunday night, 10 p.m., channel 68 in the Bronx. Spectrum, RCN, I got to get all those stations to you. And MNN on Sunday at 8 p.m., y'all. I hope you enjoyed. And if you want to be a guest on the show, make sure you send me an email to justgimmethemic12@gmail.com. Have a great start to 2020. Let's rock this thing out the whole year through. And check us out every Sunday night, y'all. Good night.